How are you all this dream time of your time as you create time to exist? Allow us to begin this evening with the interaction of an idea that we shared with some of you of recent time when there was the occasion for transmission or communication with you in your Hawaii area. We will discuss and share in this interaction the idea we will now term the Golden Gate. You may, if you wish, use that for your entitlement of this tape. It will involve the idea of channeling, but channeling in a much more open definition. For recognize that what you are perceiving through the physical channel before you at this time is only one way that the idea of channeling can be expressed in your society. And that really, as you say, when you do anything you love to do, you are channeling. The idea is to simply form a connection between that idealized blueprint version of yourself and the physicalized representational persona that you are in physical reality, to allow the two to blend, to allow the two to merge in that way, so that you are in synchronous accord with what you know to be true for you. Harmonious alignment with the vibration that represents what in your life truly moves you and truly excites you the most. Therefore, you are all channels all the time, because you take the idea that you are as a non-physical consciousness and are constantly channeling that idea into physical reality through the prism of the persona you have created yourself to be in this life. Everything you do and everything you experience as your physical reality, therefore, is the product of your channeling that idea into the notion, into the experience of physical reality. You all follow along so far? Yes. Recognize, however, something that we have not discussed before. Many of you think channeling is a one-way street. It is two ways. Coming and going, back and forth, back and forth. You are a gate. You are a valve. You are a doorway. In that sense, many of you have assumed that channeling simply comes from what you call the higher planes into physical reality, and that is it. But recognize that channeling also goes in the reverse direction, and that physical reality also constantly reverses itself back through the gate that you are into non-physical reality. We will use an analogy we have used recently that called the golden fluid, which allows you to function as a golden gate, which allows you to create golden crystallization or physical reality. If you imagine and envision yourselves as this gate, recognize that on one side of the gate that you are exists an infinite amount of golden light, golden fluid in that sense. Now, this is an analogy. You do not have to take it very literally in this way, but this analogy will work. The golden fluid is simply a representational idea of the primary energy out of which all matter of physical reality is created, is crystallized. You follow me? Therefore, on one side of yourself, one side of the doorway that you are, is this golden fluid out of which all physical reality is manifest. When you funnel that golden fluid of non-physical awareness through the prism, through the gate of your physical identity, your physical persona, that golden fluid crystallizes, solidifies as the physical reality you experience in day-to-day life, the physical reality you perceive in day-to-day life. Now, recognize the two-way street. You, when you change your physical reality, what you are doing then is, in a sense, allowing the crystallization to become molten once again by taking it inward, adopting, accepting, acknowledging the reality you create, encompassing that reality, taking it back within you into the very center of the gate that you are, so that it can become fluid, molten, and plastic once again, so that then you can transform that plastic fluid back into another crystallization that is more representative of the new idea you are being. So you see, it is always coming and going, going and coming, becoming fluid, crystallizing, melting down, becoming fluid, becoming crystal, becoming fluid, back and forth, through the valve, through the gate that you are. Recognize, therefore, that is why if you wish to change any crystallization of the fluid, any physical experience, any physical reality that you do not prefer, if you have taken that fluid and allowed it to solidify, to crystallize in a format that may be slightly off-kilter from what you would prefer it to be, the way to allow that to transform into a more precise crystalline alignment, more representative of the idea you truly imagined to begin with, is not to deny that that is your creation, is not to run from that crystallized reality, but to take it back within the crucible that you are, so it can melt down once again and then give you the material to work with, so you can reform it, so you can pass it through the gate that you are one more time and allow it to crystallize upon the template you now set for it within your imagination. That is why when you run away from any aspect of life that you perceive around you as a physical reality, denying that you had anything to do with creating it, denying that it belongs in your life, then you do not give it the opportunity to melt down and reform into the reality you prefer. It stays crystallized and it becomes more crystallized, becomes colder in that sense, becomes more solid, more physically dense in that way, sets itself in stone in that sense, becomes calcified in that way. When you are always willing to readopt any crystallization quickly, fluidly, then it remains in a highly plastic state, a highly fluid state, and therefore it is not as difficult to transform that situation that you do not prefer into one that you do, because you do not let it stay in physical reality that long and solidify into steel, into cement. You always maintain a high degree of fluidity, taking it back in, melting it down, saying, what else can I do? Letting it come back out and crystallize along the lines of the template that are created in your imagination. So you are a two-way valve, a two-way gate. You are on the side facing, again, this is an analogy, on the side of your gate facing the fluid, you, in a sense, are crystallized. On the side facing crystalline reality, you are fluid. So that always, in that way, you have the opportunity to interact, to be the interface that always shows the pattern for what is out there and what it can become. So that you, as a fluid, will interact with the crystalline reality in a very softening way, just in the same way that water wears down the rocks of your physical reality. If you remain fluid relative to the crystallization you have created, then you will always be able to flow in and around and over and under and through the reality in a very flexible way. When you allow yourself to know you are crystalline on the side of the fluid reality, of the fluid energy, then that crystalline side of you represents the patterns, the templates, the imagination, the ideas, the experiments, the formats that you wish to impose upon that fluid. It represents the patterning of that fluid, so that the fluid can take its cue from the crystalline side it sees, and so that the crystalline side can take its cue from the fluid side of your being. Always you function within polarity to these ideas, so that you are always a gate that is twisting both ways and never set and solidified. When you interact as crystal to crystal, then you reinforce the reality I've created for you. Give it nothing else, no polarity to interact with. When you interact as fluid to fluid, then you do not manifest your realities into physicalness. You do not allow them to crystallize, because everything is still very nebulous and washing around, and nothing has anything to take a pattern from. So the gate that you are, in that sense, is bipolar in an opposite way to the way you experience your reality and the way that the materials are set up to create that experience. but it always flows both ways. Allow yourself, in adopting this imagery, to therefore know that any crystallized reality that you do not prefer is simply formed along a template, an idea that you have created, which is at that time the perfect representation of the idea you are being, and that therefore once you crystallize that idea, that's what gives you the opportunity to decide whether or not the template was in the form you wished it to be. Physical reality is only clay. You can soften it up again. Just because you allow yourself to create an idea in physical form and you find you don't prefer it, doesn't mean you're stuck with it. Only by refusing to take that crystalline substance back within you do you then create it to remain where you do not wish it to. But once you accept any situation that you have crystallized in physical terms back into your heart, the warmth of the vibration of the love, the unconditional love in your heart, in your center, is what melts crystalline reality and turns it back into the molten golden fluid out of which you can create any reality. You follow me? Then take it to heart and flow and grow. Sharing.
Bashar,
Hey,
Happy New Year.
and to you.
I would like some more of a technical picture of the fluidity of your craft as we talked about that was portrayed in Flight of the Navigator that was in the channel's memory banks. Could you give me some
But
more?
it is mostly the interior that is fluid in that way, not so much the exterior.
Could you give me the molecular counterpart and the gradient to us creating that here?
You do not quite have the technology, for it is a metallic crystalline state, refined in such a way by what you would call a cold fusion process. You do not have the technology for that at this time. The idea is that it is instilled, or if you wish, programmed to act in a holographic fashion. And when certain types of current, if you wish to call them electrical, that is all right, are introduced into that crystalline metallic matrix, then it will take upon itself the form of the identity that it is infused with and will become crystallized according to that template. When the template is removed, it will collapse back into its original state until another template is introduced in electrical form. But this goes on very deep atomic levels concerning the actual interactions between subatomic particles in that sense. It will be, as we perceive it, a little while in your terms of counting before you even have the support systems necessary to create this type of effect.
But how do you create the substance?
It is, once again, grown upon the energy templates that we create. Once we have refined the particular substance, it is then grown molecule by molecule, atom by atom, along the lines of the energy template we lay down for it to grow upon.
Understood. Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you. Sharing.
Bashar,
Hey.
I believe you're familiar with the crystal skull, the anti-crystal skull that
Hey.
was found in Guatemala and lives in Toronto now. Don't touch the mic, sorry. The skull is presently on display in Phoenix, Arizona, where a group of people has looked at the skull and seen dolphins in the skull.
Hey. It is a gateway and a doorway to many different dimensions and levels of consciousness.
This group is trying to arrange with me. They are arranging, sorry,
Do not be sorry.
to transport the skull to Miami and thence to Marathon, Florida, to put it in proximity to our dolphins.
How exciting! Maybe the dolphins
Yes.
will see humans in the skull.
I wondered if you could comment on that proposed interaction and tell me
What is there to comment on? It sounds very exciting. It is a dimensional doorway, and because you are willing to open up communication between your land humans and water cetaceans, you will allow yourself to learn from them how to telepathically communicate the proper code sequence into the skull to open it up to doorways through which many other civilizations upon your planet have already stepped. and close the door behind them.
Uh-huh.
The idea is that encoded within the skull is the matrix to open that doorway, and any individual that wishes to find it simply needs to sit down and commune in a meditative state with the skull, locking eye contact to eye contact. If that individual cannot integrate all the fears within themselves, they will not be able to unlock the code, and that is the safety valve on the door.
You said that the dolphins would be able to communicate with the skull.
They will know what it is for. Some of them may be able to utilize it. Some of them may be able, when they are in its presence and when it is in their presence, to activate certain electromagnetic phenomena around it that may be visible to you. Look for ionization of the air in the dark. Look for certain sparklings of light in the air that may represent motes, in a sense representing the idea you call miniature gateways, miniature doorways, the preamble to the opening of a major door, a major gate. You may see them as sparkling light. Some of them may be ghostly, nebulous at first. Some of them may be very bright pinpoints of light in the air. All of these phenomena will be indicative that the skull will recognize when it is in the presence of an integrated mentality, an integrated consciousness that wishes to use it as a doorway. Because of your telepathic communications with the dolphin, you can allow them to tutor you, to guide you as to the proper use of the opening of that doorway to help integrate the fears and the different levels that you have fragmented your consciousness into so that you can approach the doorway as an integrated being. Many individuals, when they approach that doorway as a non-integrated being, will conjure up images and vibrations on the emotional level, in the emotional body, that will generate fear within them, and that is what makes them back off and make sure the door stays closed to individuals who are not integrated. You follow me?
Yes. When the dolphins are in communication with the skull and then they in turn communicate with us, will this communication be along the lines that it has been all along, a sort of a subliminal mood perspective, very subtle shift, or...
You may feel great tuggings in your emotional form. Anxiety rushes at first, perhaps. Temperature differences within your solar plexus. These will all be indications that you are standing in the presence of a very powerful ethereal-magnetic field.
So the dolphin, our contact with the dolphins will be, in fact, enhanced and dramatized by the presence of the skull.
Oh, yes.
Will you be aware of what is happening there? Will you,
To some degree, we will keep tabs. A little bit.
Thank you very much.
We thank you for your excitement and your willingness. Sharing.
Hi, Bashar.
Aye.
Your introduction was absolutely wonderful, totally new concept for me, and I'd like a little clarification on that, because in the past, when there were situations I didn't prefer, I would view them as being neutral and not really assign any value to them one way or the other. And now what you're saying really is to actually love the situation and take it back into yourself.
Now that is what we have always said. The idea of allowing a situation to be neutral in that way does not mean that you simply let it remain so. What we have always shared with you is the idea that once you allow it to adopt a neutral format, then you can inject whatever meaning you wish to, whatever meaning you prefer to, into the situation. That, according to our suggestion, is simply the idea of then loving it and allowing yourself to extract positive manifestation from it rather than negative, because you choose to fear it. We did not ever suggest that you simply allow it to remain in a neutral state, of course, unless you simply wish to float with it for a while.
Okay, no, I understand it, but I guess not totally.
The idea of allowing it to be neutral is so you can then put into it what meaning you wish to, rather than simply inherently assuming it comes with a built-in meaning.
Right, I understood that, but to me what you said tonight was like more than allowing it to be neutral, but in fact to see even the one you don't prefer, to see it as something wonderful.
Well, when you are working from automatic trust, you do not need to hang around in neutral. You simply automatically assume that everything is positive and worth loving.
That's true. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chatting. Yes.
more on the dolphin film that I mentioned to you about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I wondered if you had any suggestions. I seem to be moving in the direction of the Chumash Indians, who have for a long time been called the keepers of the dolphins. If one could keep dolphins, I'm not sure. Anyway, I wondered if you had anything to add to that.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
There is nothing to add when you are following what excites you the most, because everything will automatically lead into whatever situations are necessary to unfold the life you have chosen to live. There is nothing else to say if you are doing what excites you.
Okay. All
Trust
right.
it.
I will.
Trust it.
Okay.
Trust it.
Okay.
Trust it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chatting.
Yes, Bashar. Right?
Yay.
I came here tonight because I've been dealing just today with some non-preferred situations.
All right.
And that was very interesting that you should come up with that dialogue at the beginning. I have this feeling for some time that non-preferred situations are getting more and more numerous, and there's going to be some big template changes coming in my life.
Going to be. When?
Well, yes, this is, I don't know.
But you do.
I'm not even, okay, well, I haven't yet discovered for myself when and what form the new templates will take.
Oh, perhaps that is because you have not been willing to create them yet. You only discover what you create.
Yes, okay. There have been many ideas of templates.
All right.
And it's just, all I wanted to share was that along with the unsatisfactory things, which are okay, I just have a certain anxiety about when and what form the new lifestyle will take, and I just
anxiety.
Yeah.
Why not excitement?
Well,
anxiety is the same energy as
Yeah.
excitement.
Mm-hmm.
It is simply going through your process of invalidation rather than being allowed to be trusted. When you invalidate that energy, it becomes anxiety. When you trust it, it becomes excitement, knowingness.
Oh, yeah.
It is the same energy. You are right on the threshold, but not willing to believe that you can have in your life what you truly desire.
Yes.
Perhaps a few suggestions, or one in particular, might be in order.
Please.
Repeat after me, if you are willing. There
There
is
no
such
such
thing as something
something
too simple or too good to be true.
to be true. All right.
Now, perhaps if you allow that to sink in, you will begin to exercise more trust and allow yourself to realize that it is up to you to create the conscious decision to live the way you prefer to live, trusting that when you make that conscious decision, the universe will support you just as much as it has always supported you in whatever decision you have been willing to believe in most is the most likely reality you will experience.
Yes.
You see, the universe always supports you 100% according to the definition of the reality you believe the most likely reality you will experience. So when you change the definition to one you prefer consciously, then the universe will begin to support you in that definition.
How very convenient.
Yes, it is very simple. Very simple.
Well, thank you very much.
Well,
for that.
thank you very much for allowing us to reflect back to you what you really do already know.
Thanks again.
Sharing.
Bashar,
Yay.
I have 2 questions, and I'm going to sit down for them.
All right.
Because thinking. Excuse me. I went on a ski trip, and I had an occurrence with my leg. And I had an occurrence with my leg.
Ace.
And I was...
Breaking in a new act.
Thank you. Yes. I was wondering if you can help me connect up a little bit. I've been reflecting on this quite a bit.
Help you connect up. All right.
With the idea as to why I've manifested this in my life at this time, and what I might do to continue the healing process and to expedite it in a very good way.
What you can do to expedite the healing process is draw upon the many times you have been a very, very strong magnetic healer. You are very expressive. You have the ability to express that magnetism in many different ways. one of which is literally directly through the manipulation of the electromagnetic energy around you and in your body, to allow the healing process to speed up and accelerate, to knit, by imposing upon the leg in that way the idealized electromagnetic pattern that represents the blueprint, zero rest state of your leg. And at the same time, by sharing expressiveness, full emotional spectrum expressiveness with other individuals in terms of excitement, in terms of healing, in terms of sharing, in terms of ideas, then you will also be putting out that magnetic beacon, and that is what will allow the homogeneous oneness of energy to flow through you, and as it flows through you, to straighten out the gate that you are and connect any things that are disconnected. You follow me?
Yes, I do. Okay.
There is within you our perception of many, many lifetimes as a very strong magnetic healer. You have, to some degree now, simply because it was your general choice to experience it in this way, given yourself an opportunity to support yourself in another way entirely. You have, so to speak, cut yourself in mid-stride, but at a time of high exhilaration, high acceleration, and high excitement, so that you can take that excitement and allow it to transform into something else. It is not cut off. You simply are now allowing all of that built-up excitement that you may have believed got cut off mid-stride to now transform and burst forth in a number of different ways, so that the momentum will be completed on another level, on another slope altogether. It is as if, in a sense, you, at the same time, one at the same time, ran into and also passed through a doorway. At that very moment was a very strong pivot point in your life to allow you to now use that downhill momentum and acceleration in a very different way. We would recommend this, only a suggestion. Involve yourself in the study of what you would call the pivotal point of conversion of energy within the movements you often refer to as Tai Chi. All right? There is a point when massive amounts of energy are being directed toward an individual, when that individual can redirect all of that energy. And the reason that they can redirect all of that energy at absolutely no stress to them is because there is a point at which they absolutely match the motion and the speed of the energy coming toward them, so that relative to each other, no one is moving. When nothing is moving, it is very easy to create something to move in a gentle direction, to reroute the energy. You follow me? We sense that this will bring you back into a center that you have not experienced for a little while in your lifetimes. But it will be something that once you begin will be very, very familiar to you and will create within you a new understanding of support, a new understanding of balance that will then allow you to endure what other individuals may consider to be the most tremendous of energy waves or shocks to the system, and you will not experience it as a shock at all. You will bend and flow. Do you follow me?
Thank you, yes.
Anything else?
No, I think that's just fine. I'll get to work on it right away.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It does not have to be a struggle. Enjoy. Enjoy. Relax. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar,
Hey.
I'm sure you're aware that I understand what you've talked about in terms of polarity,
All right.
and I find myself in a definite bipolar fluid situation.
How exciting.
Yeah.
How momentous.
The confusion comes not in allowing myself to create the template that I would prefer. It comes from receiving pressure from my wife
Receiving pressure.
to do something different.
All right.
To not allow the space for the universe to fulfill what I would prefer to do, and being taken by another, given a force by another person to do something that I would prefer not to do, and it's creating a disruption.
Why are you accepting delivery of that package?
I've been fighting it. And
there is no need to fight it. That is only creating the package to be heavier.
That's true. I have received that message.
Can you, in your imagination, allow yourself to realize that you can do what it is that excites you the most, and at the same time, therefore, anything else that needs to be done automatically to allow you to continue to do that idea will automatically take care of itself? And all the individuals that you interact with will also find that the timing in your life will make room for the things that need to be done on many different levels. There is only a fear that doing what it is that excites you the most will allow another individual to feel that they are left out, or that things will not occur the right way, or when they should, or when they need to. This is all simply an experiment and an exploration and a reflection in trust for both of you.
Correct. So how do you get rid of the judgment and expectation?
By not getting rid of it.
By not getting rid of it.
By knowing that when you used to use it, it served you, and simply realizing that you do not need it anymore as a tool. That the use of the invalidation is, in and of itself, what prevents you from creating what you desire. So why use a tool that prevents you from getting the job done? Why not simply now change your tool into one that is simpler, to represent the simplicity that you desire to work with?
Which is?
What is it you wish to do?
I am most happy doing body work.
All right.
Using the energy, using the bipolar currents.
All right. And what is, if you will, the argument given against such an endeavor?
I'm not able to bring in money right away.
But you can always attract abundance.
Doing something else right away, yes.
Doing something else? Abundance doesn't necessarily mean money. When it needs to, it can. But money is only one of the tools that represents abundance. Abundance is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Period. That's abundance. Now, sometimes money can be the representational symbol that delivers abundance, but it doesn't always have to be. If there are ways that represent a path of least resistance that are easier and quicker to get what you need in life, to support you in the life you have created, would you not prefer that they came in the easiest and quickest way? And if money was not the easiest and quickest way, would you not prefer that it did come in the easiest and quickest way? Or would you insist on waiting for the money?
I wouldn't.
All right.
My wife would.
But that individual, simply in attracting herself to you, also has created for herself an opportunity to explore her understanding of abundance and her understandings of trust. We understand, because we are working through one of your human templates. We understand the idea of what may at any given time seem like reality and seem like nonsense to members of your society. They will say, you can't just wish for it and have it, you have to work for it, and you have to struggle, and you have to work hard, and you have to do all of these things, otherwise we will not have any kind of real life. Oh, get your head out of the clouds. Oh, grow up. Oh, stop dreaming. What's wrong with you? And all sorts of wonderful phrases like that. But the idea, no matter how insistent the belief systems are that you have been taught in your society, you still create your reality based upon what you believe to be the most likely way your reality will manifest. And an individual that has been taught to have an overriding fear that they will not have what they truly need in life unless they struggle for it, will then spend their life struggling. And even if they get it, at the time they get it, they may be too worn out to appreciate it. But the idea is to truly trust that what you need in life you can have, and you can have it right away, and you can have it effortlessly if you are willing to recognize that by doing what excites you the most in life, you are doing the thing that allows you to create what you desire in life quickly and most easily. Because excitement is the indicator that says this is what in life you can do most easily and most quickly. That's what excitement is in your life for. It's the barometer. It is the measure that lets you know that this is the thing that represents the vibration that for you is most easily the way to create abundance in your life. That's why you have excitement. It lets you know, here it is. Here's the thing that represents the vibration of the path you chose to be. Do it. And when you do it, you will attract abundance into your life. If you do not believe you are seeing the attraction of that abundance into your life, it is because you are not yet fully giving over to the trust of your excitement. You are still hanging on the threshold. So your reality will be one of threshold. You follow me? You are creating an abundance of uncertainty. Because that's the definition of your trust. 50-50. So the universe says, all right, 50-50. If that's the way you want it spread out, that's the way you get it. When you decide that you will place 100% of it in the direction of the trusting of your excitement, the universe will supply you with whatever you need to allow yourself to maintain the thing that is the vibration you are. The universe always works that way. You are not getting it to do something it doesn't already do. It always supports you 100% in the idea you are being. But if the idea you are being is a 50-50 idea, then that's the way the 100% is spread out. That's the focus. I'm not sure. Well, maybe this. Well, maybe that. So that's the way you get your reality, and therefore, the individual who is most strongly generating that idea of a uncertain reality. Well, if you do that, we cannot be certain we will survive. If you do that, we cannot be certain that we will be successful. That individual will then always create and attract into their life the ability to reinforce the negative scenario, and will always be able to come up with, I told you so. I told you so. You see, it doesn't work. I told you so. But they have never seen you work 100% in the direction of what excites you the most. They are simply, with you, co-creating the reality of, I told you it wouldn't work, I told you it wasn't enough. Well, individuals who say, I told you so, always get reinforced with a reality that always allows them to continue to say, I told you so. You follow me?
Yep. Yes.
Let that assimilate. You do not have to attack. You do not have to accuse. She is doing nothing wrong. She is simply learning what she needs to learn. The idea is that she is not behind you. You are not better. The idea is that you have attracted yourselves to each other so that you could explore the particular facets of abundance you are exploring with each other and the levels of trust you are willing to put out in your realities. But you always get what you believe and or fear will be the most likely reality. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasant dreams. Sharing.
Hello, Bashar.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, I want to just thank you for sharing your awarenesses and understandings with us. Because
And you.
Thank you. I have found them very, very helpful.
And so have we found your reflections very assistive.
Thank you. I was wondering if you could help me with the confusion I've had for many years on just the topic and the activity of meditation.
Meditation.
Yes. I'm always confused about what exactly I'm supposed to do and how that differs just from thinking.
'Tis up to you.
Uh-huh.
Thinking can be a form of meditation to some degree. The idea, however, most generally representative of meditation is to allow yourself not so much analysis, but more the idea of a seemingly detached observation, what you may most colloquially refer to as daydreaming. Now, have you ever daydreamed?
Oh, definitely.
And in the daydream state, do you not feel a little more floaty, shall we say, than when you are actually sitting there thinking about something in a very precise way?
Yes.
Then, allow yourself to recognize that in terms of what you generally call meditation, that energy moved in the direction of the daydream is more precisely representative. You follow me?
Yes, but I don't see myself as an observer, or what was the word you used? Detached? Did you use that word?
The idea of detachment is to actually know that you are attached to everything. That is true detachment. Detachment is not actually separating yourself from anything. True detachment is actually encompassing everything. When everything is absolutely on the same level and equal, then nothing gets an undue proportion of attention. And to many individuals that may seem like a detachment, but it is actually a very centered state of awareness and peace.
Mm-hmm.
So, allow yourself to simply expand in your imagination. Expand, 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 until you feel, in whatever way is correct for you, in whatever methodology and by whatever terminology you feel so appropriate, expand until you are a bubble that contains everything. Then simply explore all of the different things you contain. That's meditation.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Yes, and if I choose to focus on one of those aspects, then that would be meditating on that particular aspect.
That is all right.
Okay. Okay, well that clarifies.
Even analysis can lead you back into a form of meditation. It is also a form of meditation in and of itself. Let us put it this way. Almost any particular state of consciousness can be one that you can ascribe to a form of meditation, as long as you do not bring worry into it.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Yes.
Simply observing, focusing, exploring, examining, no matter how minute, can be a form of meditational focus. The worry that often comes with many of the ways you analyze things, that is what is not truly, in that sense, meditative. So, similar state of awareness, but without the worry. All right?
Great, I could do that.
Yes,
Okay.
you can.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Chatting.
Hello, Bashar.
Hello.
Well, I'm Daphne, and I've heard you a few times. I enjoy all the channeling that I've heard, yours and others. And I learned a lot over the past year in terms of getting into accepting and realizing abundance, things you're talking about today. And I do feel that I'm able to channel at all times. I understand that idea. Recently, I heard again about the idea of universes.
Nice.
And, well, I guess my question would have to be about that, although there's a million things, but...
there are more than a million universes.
Trillions.
An infinite number.
That's it. Okay, now you're bringing me back. Well, just whatever you would like to share with us about the infinity and eternity of a universe and possibilities and all that. I plan on sharing more, and I've lost a lot of fear, and I'm willing to experience a lot of things. And it's been going on for quite a while, but right now I just feel, very much better about it.
All right. Infinity. Everything. All that is. All at once. Right here. Right now. Universes are simply different points of view of the you already are in an expanded sense. You contain all the universes of all experience, and the experience of any particular universe is simply the shifting of a point of view. You already exist not only in all universes, but as all universes. And therefore, it is not, and does not have to be, difficult for you to have the experience of many different ideas, many different locales in that sense, that you have nowhere to get to, that you are already there, that another version of you already exists there. And all you need is the desire to see through the eyes of the you are there, to be in another universe.
I understand. Thank you. That reminds me of us being mirrors
Yes.
for each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do not forget that every moment of time that you create to experience, you actually create yourself to be quite a few number of universes anyway.
Great.
You are always a different universe, no matter how slightly different you might be from the last universe you were. When one variable in the equation changes, the whole equation is different.
Yes. Well, since I've been a child, I've felt that I would always be taken care of. I mean,
Okay.
I've been called naive and a Pollyanna and stupid and everything.
But
you
you are
can think
also
of.
eternal and infinite.
But it's been true, though. I've never been so out of it that
Out
you
of
know,
what?
out of what is supposed to be in. that I haven't found some type of salvation and found myself again.
Salvation?
Well, you know, I haven't killed myself or anything.
Yes, you have.
Well, not recently.
No. Although all of those lives are still going on simultaneously with all the other lives you have ever lived.
I understand that too. I really don't believe in death anymore. I think there's
It is simply
yeah.
transformation.
Yeah. Okay. Now, would you just say one thing more about breathing? What do you have to say about breathing? Because I've discovered something in crying. I found that
Yes.
the where you
Centering,
Yeah.
energizing,
Okay.
oxygenation of the system, crystallization of the cellular atomic structures, breathing. Breathing is the primary fundamental meditation. Allow yourself to know that when you breathe deeply in a relaxed and calm state, you are centering yourself into the idea of being at the center of all probable reality. Sight becomes clear. Insight. Allow yourself to know you are regenerating when you breathe. You are actually aligning yourself with the very pulse of the particular universe you are in at any given moment. You are going with the pulse, with that breath, a deep, relaxed breath at whatever rate represents your normal, relaxed rate of breathing. Anytime you find yourself in a situation where you feel anxious, all you need to do is replicate the breathing cycle when you remember yourself having been in a relaxed state. Use your imagination. Invoke that breathing cycle, and it will always bring you back to center. Always.
Thank you.
It is your energization symbol, your energization tool. When you breathe in that way, you may also find yourself sleeping less and eating less, because you are drawing sustenance from the primal energy of creation itself. Thank you.
Very good. Okay.
Bashar, I'm Janet.
Yay!
I have this problem with feeling.
You have a what?
Seemingly problem
Thank you.
of feeling chronically fatigued,
Oh.
and I'd very much like to have an abundance of energy.
All right. Are you doing in your life what you would prefer to do? What excites you the most?
Well, I try to, but
You what?
well, I have this.
Trying is tiring, yes.
Well, I feel that if I had an abundance of energy, I would.
Other way around. When you do what you really prefer to do, you will have an unlimited supply. If you are waiting to have that energy before you will do what really excites you in life, you will spend a long time waiting. Do what you truly are excited about doing, and that is what will generate the unlimited supply of energy. Have you not heard it said upon your planet that a labor of love is no labor at all?
Mhm.
Recognize, therefore, that when you do what you truly love to do, what do you know? The energy is there. Why, I never had so much energy. I've never had so much fun. Because doing the vibratory thing that represents the path you chose to be is effortless. So you will not be expending energy. Trying to do what you wish to do is tiring. Because all of the trying in the world is never the doing of the thing you wish to do. It is only the doing of trying.
Okay. I do pursue what I really want to do, but I'm just wondering if I maybe have some blocks or fears that I can't release, that are not at the surface, or maybe some past karma.
Karma?
Yes, right, because I worked with this for like 8 months or so, and I can't...
All right. First of all, recognize, right now, there are doorways and bubbles popping within you. There are gates opening within all levels of... Caught you. Your consciousness right now. Allow yourself to understand. Karma is self-imposed. Now. If there is any karma in your life, you are holding on to it now. It is not from before. There is no before. Everything is always now. No matter, paradoxically, how many lives you have ever lived. You are living them all now, across the board, in other dimensions, simultaneously, on multiple levels, in all directions, in all times, in all spaces. You are living them all now. Who you wish to be now is completely, totally up to the discretion of your conscious mind now. Let go of the anchor that holds you to the concept of the past, whether it be the past of this life or any other life. You are only holding on to an anchor, and that prevents you from moving forward because of your concept of time, because of your concept of energy. You, right now, are free. You are a balloon whose line has been cut. You are unlimited. You are not bound. You are absolutely free. Let those ideas appear now, rather than leaden, to be simply bubbles of thought. Let them pop. Let them pop. Feel them popping. Hear them in your imagination popping now. Let them pop away. Let them burst back into the energy. Let the fragrance, the aroma of those bubbles surround you. Breathe it in. All of the ideas that you have thought have been holding you down, all of those ideas have only been the idea that you can be held down. That's it. Nothing weighs anything. Let yourself float free. This life, right now, you have, right now, this moment, right now, all the tools necessary to do anything you want, right now. Give yourself the conscious permission, right now, to let yourself know that you can do what you desire to do. And that, therefore, because you are doing what excites you the most, you will be in alignment with the energy of the whole universe. And therefore, the energy of the whole universe will support you. And therefore, what you do by going with the flow will be an effortless expression.
Thank you very much.
Turn around. You do not have to go upstream. Just turn around and flow downstream. Blocks are only ideas of blocks. Blocks are only unexpected directions in the path you are that you simply do not believe will lead you where you want to go. So you stand at the crossroads, refusing to move, because your ego says, no, 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 not that way, even though it's obviously the way you need to go, even though the path does not move in any other direction. You stand there and treat the bend in the road as if it were a wall. because you have been taught to believe you can't go in that direction. You can't get there from here. But you can. Because you will always only be getting back to here from wherever you are anyway, which is always here to begin with. All journeys are all from here to here. All of them. You never really go anywhere. It is all, if you wish, in your mind. But that does not invalidate it. And I do not mean to make light of it. No pun intended. The idea is that you are creating yourself to be the physical life you think you are living in. This is your creation. You are in control. Allow yourself to simply allow your reality not to be chiseled out of steel and therefore highly immobile. Allow your reality to be sculpted in light, made out of bubbles, which at any given moment can pop back into the rare essence out of which they were created to begin with. Then as you breathe that essence in and exhale it out into new bubbles, they will be more representative of what you in your heart know to be true for you. Express that. Express yourself. And then what comes out of you, what forms into your externalized reality, will be more representative of what you truly believe within you is what you wish to experience. When you let what is within you out, that's the physical reality you'll experience. Let it out.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. And exciting dreams.
Okay.
For you have opened many gates and many different levels of communication between yourself and higher aspects of your own consciousness will commence tonight. Thank you very much for allowing us to blow a few bubbles with you.
Hey, good shot.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi.
I've been standing here thinking about the question I was going to ask, and a lot of the questions have been answered.
How synchronous. Thank you for co-creating such synchronicity and trust with us.
Well, the trust is what I'm struggling with.
Oh.
That's the area of my life that I hear you saying, give yourself permission.
Yay.
And somewhere inside here, there's a block that doesn't allow myself to give myself the permission.
Where? Where inside you? Where?
It feels up in my throat and in my solar plexus. I just
That's
find
two blocks, or is it a big block?
I guess it's 2 blocks.
You guess?
Well, I feel it here and I feel it here, so I guess it's...
Do you feel it anywhere in between?
No.
Oh, all right. Then for now, we'll call it 2 blocks.
2 blocks.
2 for the price of 1. All right. What a bargain you got. A bargain in blocks. You know I am not making fun of you yet.
I know.
I am creating fun with you. For that is what will allow the blocks to melt.
I've been finding myself getting progressively more depressed as I've been out of work longer. The longer I'm out of work, the more depressed I'm becoming, and the less trust I have in myself and my ability to find work in something that's going to excite me.
Then create what excites you to be your job. That's the whole idea. The idea is not to look around necessarily for the things that excite you that already exist. The idea is that if you do not find them, then allow what excites you to become your job. Somebody had to start the jobs that exist in your society. They didn't just always exist in the format that they exist in now. Someone had to say, wait a minute, look around. The thing that really excites me the most, there isn't a job for. I guess I had better start it. And now later on you think that's a typical job because someone once started the idea. But if you look around and do not find something that excites you in that way, if you look around and find that your path simply does not lead you into these things, then allow yourself to truly examine, in all honesty, what it is that really would be truly exciting, and simply take it for granted that you then, if that thing really excites you, and no one else at this point is doing it, or you do not attract into your life an opportunity to do it where it already exists, then take it for granted that your ability to conceive of what it is that excites you the most also represents your ability to create that to be the job that will support you automatically. Again, this is simply, as you have said, a matter of truly trusting that what you come up with, that what you really know would excite you in life, you are capable of doing. Whether any structure already exists for it or not, if no such structure exists, then that means that because you thought of it, you have the structure inherent within you, and all you have to do is let it out, let it unfold, and then the reality will be able to build itself on that template structure. But you're not letting it out.
I feel so incompetent. I feel...
That means you believe you are. We have discussed with you before the idea that no feeling comes without a belief already being instilled within you. There is no such thing as simply feeling something for no reason out of the blue. Feelings are not generated out of thin air, out of a vacuum. If you feel something, it's because you already believe something to be true. Feelings are a reaction to a belief. They are secondary to a belief. Feelings are not the primary experience of reality. Belief is the primary interface. First you believe something is true, then you get the feeling, then you have the reinforcing thoughts, which may reinforce the belief and then regenerate more of the same feeling. But the feeling that you are incompetent comes from the fact that you simply choose to believe you are incompetent. It's your choice to believe that, but you don't have to.
I want to let go of it, and every time I go to, I keep getting these voices that tell me, but remember this time, remember that time, remember this time.
What does that time have to do with this time?
I know, but they come up and the voices are
Let
there.
them come up. So what? You see, you are trying to shut portions of yourself off. You think that when you integrate, you will never hear those voices again, and that's not true. You will always hear those voices. As a matter of fact, the more you integrate, the more you will hear them. Because the more you accept everything, every way that you are into your life. And those are some of the ways you can exist. But they come up not to show you you have failed, not to show you you are stuck. They keep coming up to give you the opportunity to realize how much you've changed. Because you don't relate to them the same way you used to. Unless, of course, you choose to do so. So when you say, oh, well, look, the voices are still coming up, that must mean I have failed, that must mean I'm not doing the right thing the right way, you are choosing to maintain the same relationship with those voices. But you don't have to. The voices are there as an opportunity to realize you can form a different relationship with them. All right, here comes the voice. Well, remember when this happened that way? Well, yes, but so what? That was then. I have learned since then. And because you, oh wonderful voice, have now reminded me of the way I did it then now I have a great and positive opportunity to see how differently I am going to do it now. You are giving yourself a measure. Look, this is the way it happened then. All right? Now in your imagination you go, well, all right, now I know it's going to be different. This is the way I prefer to see it happening now. See how much difference there is. It is the way to allow yourself to recognize you are going through an evolutionary process if that's what you believe you must go through. Because from time to time you may find, well, the voice comes up, look, this is the way that happened then. And then you may say, all right, well, this time it happened almost the same. But there's the key word. If you are a positive individual, you'll lock onto that almost the same. It was a little bit different. A little bit different. And that's good enough for me, because if it can be a little bit different, it can be a lot different. And next time when the voice says, well, yeah, but remember when it happened this way? Now you recognize, yes, but the last time it was more different. And therefore I know, because I choose to look at it that way, that next time it will be more different. So, You keep reminding me of the way it was, little voice, because when you keep reminding me of the way it was, it gives me an opportunity to see how much more different it's becoming all the time. Everything in your life can be used in a positive way, even the same old little voices. It's up to your willingness to allow your imagination to work for you. Trust it. Have the positive attitude. That will determine everything. You follow me? Use it as a tool. If it's there, use it as a tool. Don't think that just because it's there it means you failed. That's your old attitude. That's your old belief.
I just get reinforcers from other people in my life telling me also...
You have to accept reinforcement. No one can give you reinforcement.
Well, they're agreeing with the little voices.
So what? The inner reality is the outer reality. It is one and the same. If you have the little voices within you, of course you're going to have the voices outside of you as well. But when you start using those little voices in the way we just described, then the outer voices will also change. You understand?
Yeah.
The inner is the outer reality. The outer reality is the inner reality. They are not two different things. It is one. So as you believe in, so you see out. As you sow, so you reap. That's what that means. The seeds you plant within yourself are what you see growing in the garden around you. So if you do not like the flowers you see growing, then change your order of seed. Plant something different, and then something new will grow. You follow me? The inner is the outer. The inner is the outer. If the outer is not the way you prefer it to be, change the inner, and the outer will follow.
I've worked on saying things. I guess the belief was still the old one. I didn't get rid of the old belief.
You cannot get rid of anything.
Okay. What I did was I said, okay, I can do this and I can handle the job, and somewhere there was that belief that still was hanging on to the other one.
Listen to the way many times you phrase things as well. Because many times the way you phrase things is an indication of the way you really believe. Okay, I can handle it. Right there, it lets you know the way you are saying it means you think it is overwhelming to begin with. And that's what the real belief is. The belief, therefore, is not really that you can handle it, because if you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you could, you wouldn't have to convince yourself. If you find yourself using phraseology that indicates that you are attempting to convince yourself, then you do not believe it naturally. Let yourself know that you do not have to think twice about something you already own. When you phrase things in that manner, when you say, all right, I can handle it, then you are indicating that you do not really believe it is handleable. You do not have to handle things in that way. You already control everything. You already control everything. Therefore, if situations occur in your life that seem to be non-preferable manifestations, you controlled it for a reason, for a positive reason, into that format.
Even though I don't see what the positive reason is.
Let the positive reason at least be the fundamental reason that you're giving yourself an opportunity to realize you don't have to relate to the scenario the way you used to. And you may be checking yourself to see if you still are.
What phrases could I use that would be more beneficial to me?
How does this serve me? Exactly the way it is. Exactly the way it is. How does it serve me? What can I learn? How can I positively learn something from this? Then, when you let it be the way it is when it has the greatest opportunity to change into something else. But if you deny it the form in which it comes, then you are not allowing yourself to see what is inherent within it. You are not allowing itself to present itself in the way you have created it to present itself. You are denying your own creation, your own format. Only when you acknowledge your own format of delivering messages to yourself exactly and completely the way it comes to you, do you then create the conscious freedom to transform that delivery system into a way you would prefer it to come. But if you constantly treat your delivery system as if it is malfunctioning, then you are not listening to it. You are thinking something is going wrong within you. And therefore that's the belief you reinforce, and therefore that's the cycle you repeat. Something is wrong, something is wrong, something is wrong. And so of course your reality constantly reflects back to you. Something is wrong, something is wrong, something is wrong. Everything is just fine. In what you used to consider the most dire circumstance, let yourself realize everything is just fine. I'm in control of this. Look at how much control I have to have created such an absolutely exciting scenario. Everything seeming to be wild and hither and thither and all over the place, and seemingly wild and unconnected and out of control. But since I know I'm controlling that, look at how much power I have. Are you beginning to get the habit?
Yes.
For the only thing you are experiencing is the idea that you have old habits that are difficult to break. So if that's where you're coming from, all right. I have habits that I believe are difficult to change. So if I believe in the idea of habits, then use the idea of habits in a positive way and create positive habits. I love myself. I am in control of everything. Even when it seems like it's out of control, I'm controlling that. Get used to thinking in a positive way. Get used to knowing and believing that there is a positive manifestation that can occur from every scenario. No exceptions. None.
I felt like I was, and then when I lost my job, I just went
But you
down.
see, you assumed that not being in that job for some reason has to be an inherently negative scenario. Why make that assumption? It is only an assumption. How do you know what losing that job may be making room for? That you would just explode with delight to receive. That you wouldn't have room to receive if you still had the old job. Trust that when things like that occur in your life, if you know you are doing the best you can do at that moment, and those things still occur, then assume it's for a good reason. And let yourself see how it is for a good reason. Only when you insist that those things occur not for a positive reason, do you then keep the reason from coming to you that would let you see why you lost the job for a positive reason. Because you're sitting there moping on the idea, oh, well, the only thing I can think of that losing my job means it must be negative. Something's wrong. And when you are focused in that way, you can't see the positive side of the coin. You can't see it until you choose to look at it. You have to decide consciously that you will look at the positive side of the coin in every single circumstance, or you will not be able to see positive manifestation. If you are constantly insisting that circumstances are inherently negative, losing a job must be a bad thing. Has to be. Everyone knows that. If that's the way you choose to look at it, that's the way you'll experience your reality. When you insist just as strongly that losing a job must be leading to a more expanded and broader positive experience, that's what you will get in your life. That's it. It's that simple.
I guess I got impatient because I stated that. I have said that exactly.
Yes.
And what happened was I did get an interview for a job that paid more.
Yes. And then what? Did you bring back the expectations? If I don't get this, I'm failing?
Yeah. And then I blew the interview and I didn't get the job, and so then I started to go into my old...
Remove the expectations. It doesn't have to manifest exactly as your ego or your habits think it should. It doesn't have to. Let it manifest along the path of least resistance. Stop fighting yourself. You do not have to push yourself into a mold. You fit exactly where you are. You do not have to conform to a particular idea of what success represents. You are successful exactly as you are.
I have a suggestion.
All right.
There are several people waiting, and
Yes.
what works for me is to get the tape and listen to it again. You will get more and more and more out of it as you listen to it, and sleep on it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wake up and dream.
Thank you, Bashar. I want to thank you for sharing with a friend of mine about a ceremony you described for a Thunder Dreamer, the Heyoka ceremony. And I want to thank you for that. I've been doing it quite often.
We thank you.
Thank you. I have experienced in my life the 50-50 that you've talked about, creating both negative and positive synchronicity.
Nice.
I've realized of late that I have chosen to believe more the negative synchronicity than the positive.
All right.
I'm changing that.
All right.
And integrating within myself.
All right.
What I'm doing and what I'm creating. The creating both of them has been a source of excitement for me.
Yes. And to you all, or you wouldn't have done it. You all have good reasons for doing everything you have ever done.
Yes.
When you let yourself believe that and let that sink in, then you'll realize that you can create whatever you truly prefer.
That's what I'm doing now.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to ask you about an incident that occurred at my business, which has been a lot of, the business that I'm in has been a lot of source of both the positive and negative synchronicity.
You are the source. They are simply the reflection
Yes.
of the source you are.
Yes, yes. A cat walked in.
Hey.
And this cat walked around, a black and white cat.
My.
Yes. I understand a lot of the significance.
How
already.
obvious your symbols are becoming.
Yes. And I thought the cat wanted some food, which of course it ate a little bit of and then didn't. And then I was standing, and it basically walked around visiting everyone, but kept coming back to me. And I was working in the front of the store, and the cat just decided to sit down in the front and stare out to the door, watching, just watching. And it was a great experience between me and the cat. I wanted to see if you had any comment about that.
What did you wish to do that perhaps inhibitions did not allow you to do?
Talk more with the cat.
All right. What do you imagine you would have learned? Or do you imagine you would have left and done something with it?
I would have imagined I would have learned that the cat, I felt that the cat was acknowledging the integration that
All
I was
right.
creating.
Back up.
Yeah.
If you, in your imagination, had been the cat, how do you imagine you would have seen the place the cat walked into? If you were looking as the cat, explore that idea and see what you come up with in your imagination.
Okay.
Be the cat. Identify not only with it, but as it. And see what you get.
Okay.
When you identify fully as any symbol in your reality, no matter what it is, that's when you are in complete and total telepathic communication with it. Because you are identifying as it. That's how telepathy works. You become your version of that idea, and therefore, of course, you experience the same thoughts it does. That's telepathy. It is not direct reading of mind. It is total identification as your version of that idea, of that being, of that object. Then you know what it is like to be the cat, the table, your friend, your family, your world, and so forth. Then you can put into action what portions of it you prefer. what portions of it represent the idea you, as the being you are, can most effortlessly apply to your reality. Therefore, the animal and any object will function as a multidimensional symbol, allowing each and every individual that interacts with it to get out of it what they wish, to identify as it in whatever form represents the being they are, and to apply through themselves in whatever format they are, the idea they get out of it in the way that represents the way they are living their lives. Multidimensional, multifaceted, crystal.
So I can walk back in with the cat.
You can walk back in as
the cat. And then
see the place as you would imagine the cat sees it. Be the cat in that way. Now, we do not mean you have to get down on all fours. You can if you wish. Depends upon your willingness and your sense of humor. But the idea is that you can still see as if you were the cat.
Yes.
At this time, we will let you curl up with that idea while you all take a very relaxing short break.
Thank you.
While you are preparing yourselves for sharing, allow me to share something with you, if I may. All right? Just to show you that there are many points of view that exist within many of the civilizations we have encountered. We will simply relate that your particular civilization is, in our viewpoint, as we have stressed to you many times in this sense, unique to some degree in the degree of the focus of limitations you have experienced. But as we have said, to us this can also be a positive thing in that it does make you masters of limitation. So that you have experienced all there is to experience on that particular idea of limitation, and therefore have that completely within you as a total experience to draw from that you can utilize to share and assist with other individuals, as you will be doing, perhaps in your future, with other planetary systems to assist them in the limitations they have created for themselves, if they need such assistance, to be reminded that they have also got the ability and the inherent power to create the realities they desire. This, we perceive, you will be doing in short order, even as we are doing this with you. However, there was one time when we encountered a civilization that came into contact with the association. And eventually, in sharing information back and forth, as you say, it came time to describe and define your existence and what we were doing in interacting with you. Now, do you realize that one of the closest times we have ever approached what you would call, although not exactly in the same way, no negativity, no real violent emotionality in that sense, but the closest we have ever come to what you would colloquially call an argument with anyone was that they simply could not believe that there could exist any expression of individuality within the physical universe that could not be aware of its own power, that could actually forget that it creates its own reality. It took some convincing.
They call you a liar, Bashar?
Not really. But simply, it was beyond their conception in that way. Not that they are any better than you, but simply to show you how many different ways there are to perceive reality, and that there are civilizations who have created themselves to inherently not even be able to conceive of the ability to forget that you are a part of infinite creation. So in this way, recognize it was quite astonishing in that sense to them to realize that you were actually able to funnel your great power in such a manner as to use that power to create in yourselves the ability to forget that you even had the power you were using. They learned something new about themselves that way, learned something new about the universe that day, and you taught them, to their great amazement, that that was one way that all that is can express itself, and now they have a much broader understanding of the way infinite creation can express itself. You have taught them something in that way by your willingness to experience such a high degree of limitation and focus in that sense. They, in turn, began experimenting to some degree with that idea. Not that they created exactly the same degree of forgetfulness, but you see, the idea in their civilization became a source of enjoyment because they found, as you also found to some degree, that the ability to impose the illusion of forgetting upon yourself, however momentarily, allows you to experience things as if you are experiencing them for the first time. And for them, they realized that that was an experience they had not had. And so in that way, they were able to generate for themselves a whole new understanding of creativity simply from the altering of the perspective, the altering of the point of view of creating the scenario of not remembering that you are connected to the experiences you are creating your reality to be. Therefore, recognize that even out of all that you have considered to be such a negative experience, other individuals in the universe have benefited greatly from your unique willingness to create such a reality that can then be shared in many different ways as a learning tool by many individuals in the universe. You also have assisted us in assisting other worlds because our thought patterns would also be highly alien to you and yours to us, and without the use of the idea of a model upon your planet, a life, without having experienced the idea of a life upon your planet as I have experienced in the form of the physical channel before you in what you would consider my past, then I would not have the model to draw from, the experiences to draw from to be able to assist you now or even speak with you on the same terminology at all. And so in using your high degree of focus and limitation, we have been able to know that if our model works on your world, it works marvelously on many other worlds that do not have such a high degree of limited focus. Because you are then the master lock for almost any other civilization that is experiencing limitation to any degree. And so we thank you for the high focus you have created, because then in dipping into your well, we have almost all the tools necessary to deal with almost anyone else. We thank you for forging that type of steel that allows us to be able to cut through the bonds of the illusion that exist in many other societies, and yours as well. We thank you. Sharing.
Hello, Bashar. It's nice to see you again.
And you. Sort of.
Recently, my boyfriend's 5-year-old son transitioned on, and it was a time that we were coming very close to seeing him. He hadn't seen him since he was an infant, and we had been meditating and sending him a lot of love and a lot of energy, and shortly after we had decided that we were going to see him, he drowned. And we have felt his presence, especially around his father, around the house a lot lately. I was wondering if you could give us any insight as to why he decided to choose this time to leave. And
well, it was all the time he needed to experience in physical reality.
Okay.
Many souls that choose to be of service in many different ways will realize in their estimation, let's say we have one or two little things to understand about being in physical reality, but we will impose a timing limit on it, so we will not live out a full life because we do not need to. We need to experience the idea of just a few ideas, just getting our feet wet in that way to allow us to experience the idea that we can then be of greatest assistance with in assisting the entire civilization to go through the transformation it is going through. So that soul picked up whatever ideas, whatever remnants of ideas of self-created karma it needed to allow itself to become balanced and aligned within its own polarity, so it can now function as a guide and be of greatest assistance in that way. It can lead and lure many of you into the realm of light in which it now exists. In your dreams will be the strongest contacts, and in your physical reality will be very strong contacts, but generally speaking, the contacts you have between your respective consciousnesses as they express themselves in physical terms will play themselves out as synchronous events that unfold in your life, rather than the idea of recognizing yourself actually having what you would call vocal or verbalized or auditory communication.
Yes, he has been very present in my dreams for some time.
If you wish,
yes,
you may find that the individual may, from time to time, use in various ways as a calling card, if you will, to let you know there is communication going on specifically from that consciousness. They will use as a calling card the symbol of water to represent transformation and fluidity. It can come and will come in various ways. Watch for it and recognize the vibratory chord that is struck within all of you when you see it. When you do see it, you will know it is a symbol of the communication going on at that moment. And simply, you do not have to wait and stop and listen. Do not stop your lives. Let your lives play out knowing that what is going on is a guidance, a co-creation from that soul, from that guide. Not being in physical reality for a very long time in your terms of counting has allowed that soul to remain relatively unfettered, uncluttered. It did not need, in your terms, much work, much orientation upon transforming to non-physical reality. It simply went back into the idealized state of functioning as the guide that it wished to function as for many of you still experiencing physical reality. So watch for the signs of water, and you will know that represents communication. Not that you have to go out of your way to look for them. Simply continue to live your lives. You follow me?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Fill yourselves with the light that you are. And you will be more open and more receptive to communications from a being that now knows itself to be composed utterly of light. All right? Thank you. Sharing.
Bashar, 2 questions.
1.
For a friend. Her name is Zenaline, and she had a talk with me, and I thought that it might help her if you shed some light on this idea also. She's wondering the meaning of the experience of finding herself at 46 being pregnant. Okay?
The meaning of it?
No, well, she had...
Well, let me take a wild guess. Let's see now. She's going to have a child. No. That can't be it. 46. Well, is there something strange about having a child at that age?
Well, she's already had a few children, and she doesn't really, from my talking with her, have the feeling that she wants to have another one.
But obviously she made an agreement to a certain point.
Right.
To allow that individual to experience a certain degree of physical reality.
Okay. That's part of the question she has.
All right. It may not conclude in your terms. In what month?
I think she's going on to the 3rd month.
All right. There may be changes that will occur toward the ending of the 3rd month in that way. It may not conclude. It can. But it does not have to for the being to get what it needs.
The being that would be
the child.
With the child. Okay. One of the questions she had was, at what point is there the full connection with the fetus and that new soul?
Body consciousness exists now. An extension of the soul consciousness exists now, but full connection is not until birth itself. And sometimes not even until after.
Mm-hmm.
The soul can still come and go for a very long time after physical birth. Body consciousness will maintain the body. But the connection generally is not actually until physical birth.
Okay. If she actually chose then to not to continue, she's wondering if there's...
Allow her to get in touch with the reason she made the agreement. Telepathically, she can. The agreement was made. Allow her to get in touch in her imagination, in her meditations, with the reasons for the agreement. The pictures that come into her imagination may at first not make much sense, because some of them represent connections to other civilizations that are a part of the overall child's agreement and origin points. But let her drift within the images. Let her describe and write down the images she gets in her emotionality, in her meditation, and she will allow herself to begin to realize the reasons for the agreement, which can then also allow her to choose and to recognize that there may be portions of her that does wish the child to come to term.
Okay. She was feeling like barren and sterile.
Obviously
physically
not.
And emotionally previous to this.
Then perhaps the child has allowed her to realize that she is always fertile on many different levels, depending upon the agreements and the timings that she creates, and perhaps that is one of the reasons why the child may not have to, quote-unquote, stick around if she will be willing to learn that she is never barren on any level.
Right. Okay.
Once that is understood, then one of the primary reasons for the existence of the child may have already been fulfilled. Also, no offense, 46, she is still a child to me. Allow her to realize that one of the other ideas the child is sharing with her is how to always function in that childlike mode. And that when she does function with her child now, then she can live in that modality as an ageless being. For once again, recognize the transformational age, one of the reasons for it is to learn how to live in the moment. Now, we are not saying act in a childish manner, but in a childlike manner. And in this way, your society allows you to act in a childlike manner 2 times, when you are young and when you are very old. Recognize, therefore, since you know that this childlike behavior is actually very closer to your natural state, many of you will allow yourselves to create the idea of physical age, so it will be all right to act like a child again. When you allow yourself to act like a child now, you won't have to age to be able to do so. And that is one of the things that will make you ageless, when you learn how to play now. Tell and share this with that individual.
I will.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. She thanks you, and so do I.
One moment. Now, this may be only as it translates through our interpretation of your energy, but we will share this with you. See if it means anything at all. It may not consciously to her. And again, this is only our interpretation, and her imagination may provide her with a vibration that is closer to what she feels to be more appropriate or accurate for her representation of this idea. But we will share this one word about the child. Stefan. All right?
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharing.
Okay. The second question.
Yes.
Listening to the principles that you bring forth, and when you answer almost every question concerning interaction, and when you come in contact with another entity, when they act as a mirror unto yourself. Okay. When you run across somebody that you perceive that you're coming forth in an act of love, unconditional love, and they come through with what you perceive as a judgment.
Does not mean we are talking about a one-to-one reflection. Many individuals will attract individuals into their lives to allow that other individual to see in them the lack of judgment that the other individual is putting forth. So there can be polarity mirrors as well as one-to-one mirrors.
So it's not necessarily yourself that you're seeing.
You are seeing an aspect of yourself that you certainly have the potential to manifest. But if you simply know that that's not the aspect you are manifesting at this time, then simply take it for granted that you may be then functioning in that person's life as something they need to see. Because they may be considering ways to change, whereas you have already considered, and the way you are is the way you wish to remain. Then you give them an opportunity to see that they also have the potential to create in their lives the stability you have created in yours. You follow me?
Yes. So it's okay to perfectly be in a lack of communication. Like one person presents one thing and another presents like a polarity, yet...
But that is not a lack of communication.
Right.
It is very powerful communication.
Okay.
Simply, it does not necessarily represent the vibration of the reality that you find you create experientially in your life. But you can still communicate, and do communicate back to them, that your reality is the way you prefer it to be, and they can decide whether what they see in you will work for them or not, and if not, they can be on their way.
Right. And likewise, you can choose, well, if I don't want to interact with this person because I keep getting that judgment or that reaction from them, then if you choose...
But recognize,
okay,
if you are in a reality that is non-judgmental, you won't feel it negatively. You may recognize that they are doing it, but you won't take it personally.
Okay.
So it will not affect you that way. So you won't care whether they interact with you in that sense or not, because you will perceive anything they have to say as something that you can glean something positive from.
Right.
And then when they see how you treat their attitude, then is when you are showing them the way they can deal with themselves. You follow me?
Yes.
It is not a matter of cutting them off. If you have attracted that individual into your life, then obviously you have also co-created it for a reason. An individual you do not need to experience in your life, you never experience.
Right.
So if they are there, obviously they are there not only for their reason, but for your own as well. One of your own being that you can be of service to them, and also learn on your part how to not accept their offer of being affected by their negative point of view. You follow me?
Yes. Is the only way to do that then to stand there and
reflect who you are?
Right.
Give them the echo back to what they have given you that represents the way what they have given you changes when it hits you and bounces back. If they say, I hate you, say, I love you. Yes. Otherwise, then you are simply offering to reinforce the reality that they are coming to you with, and then you are creating that reality for yourself if you judge their judgments. You follow me?
Mm-hmm. So in a sense, you never choose to walk away from anything.
You can choose that attitude, but you never really can.
Right.
Because everything is right here.
Right. Okay.
Anything that is in your life is obviously there for your own good reasons. Begin to trust that you know what you are doing, and then you will allow yourself to realize you are in control, and the things that exist in your life are there because of your own choosing, for some reason. Deal with it, accept it, acknowledge it, and you will understand why, just by being true to yourself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sharing.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi.
Well, I don't know where to begin.
How about at the beginning?
There is no beginning.
Oh, very good. Then begin anywhere. It won't matter.
Okay, that's right. Hey. I've been trying out this idea.
Oh, trying it out.
Oh, yeah, it's a beauty. That idea of...
a beauty. All right.
Yes, it is. Of taking a neutral viewpoint and... oh, God, there's so many... I'm certainly not going to take time here to give all the specifics, but...
Oh, everyone can feel them.
Oh.
You don't have to give them.
But the idea that I decided to really do this. Really, really do it.
Really?
To really, really honest and truly do the idea
Ooh.
of being just as grateful for the things that I judge to be negative or reacted to even slightly negative or judgmentally.
Before you go on,
Yes.
you know there is a difference between accepting negativity in your life and preferring positivity. Just
Yes,
because
I
things
do.
occur in your life that may be negative in that way or negative manifestations, we are not saying that you cannot prefer positive manifestation, but that the way to allow the negative to transform into the positive is to realize that it is not truly or necessarily has to be negative, that is only a value judgment.
Right.
All right.
You bet. Okay, so what? Yeah, that's really what I was going to say. Because what I did was when I did that, what I noticed is the things that I created as being quote negative or things that I didn't desire would start coming up, and they would kind of sneak up, and go, "Okay, Pammy, how are you going to deal with this one? Huh? And it was almost like a tease that I created for myself, like, so what's it going to be? And all of a sudden, I actually had this feeling of joy, and I just thought, how humorous.
That can sneak in there too.
Yeah, but what it was just simply that we're just going to keep presenting this to you until you get it straight. And of course, I'm doing this for myself.
Hey.
Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yes. Perfect.
Anyway, it was just so wonderful, and I decided,
Did you hear that? No. Yes, that too. But anyway, it was so wonderful. Anyway, it was.
That's
so
right,
wonderful.
Bashar. That's it. That's really. I mean, I can't even find words to say this. I'm so ecstatic.
You have found them perfectly. And again, when you radiate that knowledge, you don't need as many words. Everyone can see the light. You don't have to describe the light when you actually shine.
That's really true.
Thank you.
I just, there's one more thing I was going to say about, I said something like, all that is always guiding me to my highest expression, or something like that. I decided to just operate on that. And then I had some realizations about when I used to perform. I used to be an opera singer, and I used to love performing. And people always saying, well, ego. It wasn't ego at all. What it was, I was describing this to someone the other day, and I realized something about it.
It is simply the same format as when a bird sings. That
Yes,
is not ego.
And also, when you have the total attention of the audience, you are the focus of it, and that's a lot of energy to take in and focus and shape, and it's and give back, and that's the same thing that all that is does for you when you allow it. And since you're an individual, you get to shape it, even though it's all part of you. It's all one thing. It's like a circle.
You know what?
What?
Your planet is sounding less and less third density all the time. Are you sure I have the right planet? Yes,
But Bashar,
I know I have exactly the correct planet because we believed and knew when we began our interactions with you that this is what you had already chosen to understand. Yes?
Yeah, you bet. It's fun.
Yes! That's the whole idea.
Even the parts that we were all kind of afraid of and scared by and all that stuff was fun.
Yeah.
All the limitations.
Oh God, we're just so, I'll tell you something. Since I've been on this, it's just a constant thing. I'm numb actually. I actually feel so much energy searching through me all the time.
Yes.
That I'm actually numb from it.
Yes.
I can't sleep at night. I'm so
That's all
excited I can hardly breathe. And yet
you are
I'm
breathing
fine.
just fine.
And there's one more thing I wanted to share. I guess that's it. It's just a...
Thank
There's
you
not a-
for exploding in my direction.
I can't. Thank you for coming here, Bashar.
Shedding.
Bashar.
Yes!
So many things have been going on the last
You're
time
telling
since
me.
I saw you. Can you feel it? Oh,
Can I feel it?
I have been, for the first time, I controlled one of my violent dreams that we spoke about last time. And that was really joyous. It was amazing. And it was because I had controlled something in my life. It reflected in that way, and it was wonderful. I just have one question, because most of my questions I am answering myself continuously.
Now that you have created freedom in your life.
Definitely, definitely, which I'm very grateful for. But one thing that just hit me today is this. I'm
Did it hurt?
exploring. It was like a jolt. It was like a
Oh,
lightning
all right.
bolt.
Another awakening. Yes, do
Yes.
share.
I am exploring the idea of abundance, meaning being able to do what I want to, when I want
Yes.
to, and all of that sort of thing.
And all of that sort of thing. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, very exciting.
I am wondering, why is it, I just realized this, I started a new job it'll be 3 months in a couple of weeks. This is, I am at the lowest level of abundance as far as money that I've ever been in my life in order to do the things I want to do. Or as far as being able to do the things that I want to do, which require money to do that. Anyway, I have no money, but I'm working in Beverly Hills. Okay, which is like the richest community in the world. This polarity, I mean, I am creating this. I am poor and I'm working in Beverly Hills. And I want to be able to flip the coin. I mean, the other side is there.
Listen. When you are in your Beverly Hills, listen and look around you.
I do, constantly.
All right.
Okay.
Not out of desperation.
Right.
Not out of desperation. For with that attitude, you are saying, I am not one of you.
Right. I'm learning that.
All right, relax.
Okay.
Relax. No matter how much time you choose to create up to the point where you realize you are completely abundant, when that point comes, you will not care how much time went before. When it hits you, it will hit you. And you will be abundant, and it won't matter how long it took. So relax. All right? Simply begin to identify with those individuals. Be as them.
Right.
Flow in that school. Swim in that school. If you have created and attracted to yourself the opportunity to surround yourself with an environment that represents abundance, then realize you are giving yourself the tools you need at whatever rate you truly can handle them.
Right.
So relax. Know that if you have the ability to do that, that is representative of abundance. That is inherent within you. Or you would not have attracted yourself into that locale.
Right.
If you didn't have that vibrational ability, you would never have experienced that reality around you.
Right.
You are that vibration. So you are giving yourself the opportunity to get used to that. You are surrounding yourself with that environment. Much in the same way that you learn what you call a foreign language best by living in that country and having to use it all the time. And only hearing it all the time. So now you are living in the country of abundance. Let the language rub off on you. Use the language. And when you use the language, when you use one symbol, you will learn how to use all the others. Let it flow into you. Do not be impatient. For then you truly keep it away. You create desperation. You reinforce the belief that you are separate.
Right.
If you are there, you are not separate. Or you would be somewhere else.
Right.
So enjoy.
What is amazing is I have felt, and I've heard you say that to me, I've been feeling that all the time. And when I do get impatient, or at times when I do get wild about it or desperate about it, I hear that, relax. You know,
all right.
This is
Thank you for
wonderful.
creating that reflection within your mentality.
Thank you very much.
Search within yourself also at the same time and explore. There may be different things that you can do to attract that abundance to you that you may not be doing because you are sitting and waiting rather than doing these things. You are now in a new modality. Do the different things, have the different attitudes that an abundant individual has. See things the way an abundant individual sees them, with that type of abundant perspective. Look at everything and see everything as another expression of abundance and another opportunity for you to exercise your abundance. Well, there's another way. It's not what I prefer, but there it is.
Right. Okay.
You follow me?
I do.
Then when you know you are truly surrounded by it, then you will not be surrounded by it, you will be immersed in it. As long as you still believe you are surrounded by it, you are not a part of it.
I see.
If you are surrounded by it, all of that which surrounds you 360 degrees had to come from the center, you. So it's all you. So there you are. You are abundant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasant dream. Exciting dream. Which is the same as physical reality. Sharing.
This feeling is very, very good.
Thank you for co-creating it. Very well put.
Thank you.
Could not have said it better myself.
I would like something clarified if possible.
All right.
You said about the don't confuse accepting negativity with whatever you said. I don't even know. Preferring it. Okay. All right. In terms of every effect can be positive, is that a true statement?
Every situation can generate a positive effect.
Right.
Which, of course, in and of itself, effects are also situations. Yes.
Okay. How does the issue of integrity, for example, an act that is highly out of integrity, that
which causes segregation, that which reinforces the belief in separation. In other words, what you colloquially refer to as forcing or domination, generally are representative of your belief that you are not inherently connected to infinite abundance and must force something upon someone else to get what you think you need in your life, not believing that you have all you need right at hand to create whatever you want without having to hurt anyone else or yourself in order to create it.
Okay, so the issue of integrity is far from a follow the rules, yada, yada, yada. It's far from a strict one.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Very, very pliable. It simply means acting in an integrated way.
Okay.
Knowing that you are the total you and have access to total infinite ability, abundance, and power. Negative situations, negative expressions are acting in a separated, segregated, limited way. I don't have the ability. I am a victim. I have to manipulate everyone else in order to get what I want. I have to force this on someone else in order to make them listen to me, in order to validate me, because I do not believe I can validate myself. That's negative.
Okay.
Total validation, self-love, integrative.
Okay.
Lack of self-worth, guilt, invalidation, judgment, segregative, negative.
All right, understood. In terms of homogenizing oneself, any suggestions either for me or for everybody?
Simply that when you allow any creation in your life, whether it be positive or negative, when you allow yourself to let yourself look at it and say, all right, that may have been a negative act. It may have been functioning without my integrity. Now I recognize that. Now I prefer to understand I do have the ability to create what I want while functioning within my integrity. That's the way I prefer to exist. So, in having created this negative act, that has allowed me to learn that I prefer now to only generate positive effects. So now even that negative act has transformed into a positive one because I have learned something positive from it. Everything is on the same level. Everything is equal. Then when everything is on the same level, I can choose and pick what I prefer, because I don't have to reach for it as some sort of unreachable ideal. Nor do I have to climb up from something as some abysmal act I can never, ever, ever redeem myself from.
Okay, I have a question about whether I was manipulating in a specific way. Sometimes I find that, for example, when I want a day off work,
yes,
and there are people that I see at work that create illness in order
yes,
to get a day off work.
Yes.
I choose not to participate in that.
All right.
Thus, is it manipulation to call in sick? Something simple like that.
It is acting outside of your integrity, basically.
It is.
Because you are not communicating the honest vibrational situation of your being. You are thinking once again that the way you are is not reason enough to create the reality you want, and that you have to, in this way, create an illusion to get someone else to go along with it. When you know that you are as strong as you need to be to create whatever you truly need in your life without having to manipulate the true signature vibration that you are, then you can function totally, always, in harmonious accord with your integrity, your integral vibratory signal, and still attract into your life what it is you truly need.
And
also, ask yourself many times why you may want that day off. Perhaps it is an indication that you actually do not want to be where you are at all. Perhaps then you can attract into your life whatever it is that will support you and bring with it automatically a schedule that you can live with. Then you won't have to make excuses, because you will attract the job that represents the being you are, and it will automatically be patterned and structured in the way that represents your flow.
Okay, the way that I used the calling in sick was to postpone something. And if I had shared my honesty,
yes,
they would have said, I
assumption.
Think. Assumption.
All right.
Granted, but
it may be true. However, again, no matter what they would have said, it would have been an honest reaction to an honest communication. And that would have let you know. If they had said, all right, now that we recognize what your idea is, what your attitude is, we cannot deal with you. You cannot be a part of this idea. But so what? Then that means you're free to attract into your life the idea you can be a part of. They have actually given you the opportunity to recognize within yourself that perhaps that job is not for you. By truly giving them the honest idea of who you are, then you truly learn the quickest whether a job is for you or not. Why stick around someplace that really is not representative of the vibration that you are? Why would you want to stay around there anyway? Why not let them tell you, it's not going to work, that's not who we are, you don't blend in. What they are really saying is, be who you are. Find and attract into your life the job you can live with. Because if you don't want to be here, then you are not being of value to us anyway. You are not serving, and we cannot serve you. Because you are not where you want to be. Attract the job into your life that brings with it the schedule that is all right for you, then you will be able to serve them and let them serve you. You follow me?
Yeah, this is a one-time thing that I was talking about, but still.
Does not matter.
Yeah.
Does that assist you?
Yeah, a lot.
Thank you very much for being willing to express the ease of your integrity. For with that, life is effortless and obvious.
Thank you.
Thank you. There will be but a few moments remaining for this interaction this day of your time. Continue.
Bashar.
Yay!
Hi there.
Strawberry.
How you doing? Bashar, from your point of view, what is the mechanical source of voices that start talking to you?
It can be many different things.
I thought you'd say that.
It can be portions of your own consciousness that you have created a vocalized symbol of so that you will hear them in the way you are used to hearing things. It can be a vocalized symbol of communication from another consciousness altogether. It can really come from anywhere. Generally speaking, when you hear it
Thank you.
It is also a way, from time to time, to allow them to instill within themselves a degree of further trust. They will make it seem as if the voice is removed, so that they will not at first have to think that they're doing it. Then when they get used to the understanding that they are communicating with another portion of their own consciousness, no matter who it is they are communicating with, because they're always communicating with their own version of that idea anyway, then they won't necessarily have to experience it in that way, although there's nothing wrong with doing so.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. One more.
Yay.
When I create parallel universes in which I fly down Hollywood Boulevard as Superman or in a sleigh, you know.
Yay.
Some of the goody games there.
Yay.
I want to be able to parallel the visual with the same experiential pattern that you get physically through the body. Can you assist me in being able to develop that perception more?
If that is your dream, act it out.
Act it out.
Act it out.
Put the suit on, you mean?
'Tis one way. That's what being a thunder dreamer is all about. That's what the idea of a heyoka is all about. When they have a dream they know represents the idea of the being they are, they create, replicate that, and create that in the physical dream as well as the non-physical dream. It will give you an opportunity to truly experiment with the threshold of your believability.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Go get the reindeer in the sleigh and start moving around here.
Besides which, even though there may be individuals that choose to think you're out of your mind, many other individuals will enjoy it.
Yeah.
And most importantly, if that's what represents your reality, and if you know you are doing it with an integrity, go right ahead.
Yeah.
And again, you may find that the second you do that, you may get another way. Another way may come to you. That will also be a way, also be a method that the majority of individuals may also allow into their lives to be possible.
Lovely. That's neat.
Thank you very much. At this time. We will once again extend to each and every one of you our unconditional appreciation of your willingness to co-create with us fourth density reality, playground, child time, exuberance and excitement, trust, knowingness, and conscious choice are yours. Play. We thank you for sharing the dream. We bid you a fond and loving good evening.
Good night. Thank you.
How'd it go?